Now let's go to today's post in next fucking level. This gaming rig.
Kirby21 says I thought it was a real car, until I saw those buttons.
Inception85X says I felt like I was in the backseat just watching this.
Judah says for anyone wondering how much something like this would cost. Monitor, 150,000. Wheel pedal set, 10. Wood carpet, 0. Car dash and gauge cluster materials, 50. MISC, IE nails, staples, screws, glue, 0. Around 00 to 00 total. Edit. You would most likely need a decent PC to power this setup. I strongly recommend against consoles for racing sims. You would need a set of pedals and a wheel with an optional 6 SPD shifter. https www.amazon.com dpb00z0uwwyc ref equals cmswrcp apiu4jg ebi6cqxtqa dash from any car which you could find at a junkyard, preferably with working gauges. Follow this tutorial for the gauge cluster. https YAU2BL59NL9EUEDM build a wooden frame for the dash as this guy did. https://yahoo.be/jfm_hsv4quu edit. I was never saying this exact setup would cost 00. This is a very well done setup that more than likely cost over KK. I was giving an estimate for people who don't have a lot of money to blow and are willing to do quite a bit of DIY. A really nice dash with carbon, such as many of you pointed out, isn't gonna be something you can just grab from a junkyard, but a functioning clean dash off of any old car would work fine. Also, many of you pointed out that TV's monitors are more expensive than that. Yes, sure, if you buy them brand new with 4K and 144Hz. This comment was describing the bare minimum cost of doing something like this. The sky is the limit when it comes to racing sim. I was giving you the very base level.
I'm speechless says. John 2018 says how much? I will take one please.
Troutmuscreplica2 says what game is it though?
Now let's go to today's post in next fucking level. Sleeping Beauty proposal. Tanquasan says I love the way the cartoon characters were just staring at them when he got down on one knee. Dude really put some effort in.
Wandering Savage says Disney lawyers getting ready to send out the cease and desist letter.
Luke the Sardog says I might have cheered a little at the end there, or Madam Esmile.
Shady Assassin 17 says this is really amazing. Wow, I love how confused she looked while trying to figure out what's going on.
Yahodo says this is actually awesome, but now the bar is too high. _TV_lover_ says, these poor people, such selflessness. With a heart like that, she gonna make a wonderful doctor.
Now let's go to today's post in gaming. My teacher had this on the first day back from school.
AXW3555 says it's even worse going back to education after years working. It's like loading up an old MMO and finding your character's save coordinates are now the final boss of the game's hardest raid.
Lucheral says that's how I feel when I come back from lunch to work.
Julian18 says not for me. When I paused the game to go pee and when I came back, I was kicked out of the game.
Xian says did you miss me? I knew this was written by Moriarty. Z0 who says I played about 2 hours of Spider-Man on PS4, then stopped for a few weeks. Came back and started the game up in some battle with hundreds of thugs, and I don't remember any of the attacks or combos and just keep dying over and over. Sounds about the same.
Sealegs says when you've left a game for so long, you forget all the controls, what the story was about and what the hell you're supposed to be doing. Feel like you gotta start the whole damn thing over. Grade 1, here I come.
Now let's go to today's post in gaming. Well, it's true. Broken Sun 1984 says Liiinpees. One Stoffed Last says this is a rip-off of L Block's stunning upset from GameFAQs character battle tournament about 2006 I think. The old hen says he actually has a name. Hero.
Schmo006 says Boom Tetris.
Trogdera says HK47 thanks.
JL the Professor says Tetris God. Now let's go to today's post in memes. It will bore to the middle of the earth.
Adele Eastwood says I remember when TVs were so heavy that if it broke it would become the table for the next TV.
B. Bunny says the second one is a very legitimate fear.
King John 2510 says that's what you call evolution. The Sweaty Flash says not to mention it was so lopsided that if it tumbled and started rolling, it would end up like the Indiana Jones scene from Raiders W the Boulder.
Fruscrew says true, once I was trying to move our thick TV to another room peacefully but somehow I slipped and dropped it on my big toe. My toe and the floor nearly broke, but not to scratch on Chunky Boy. It was built like a tank.
Dratidkill says I miss shooting games like Duck Hunt.
Now let's go to today's post and memes. You guys are the best.
1357908642468097531. He says, thanks dude.
Illusioner100 replies, you're welcome.
Acidic white girl says, are you dudes going to the club to pick up dudes?
Illusioner100 replies, dude, Wyatt, that guy 13131313 says as the holy texts say I am a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude, we're all dudes, hey.
Holologic says one time I said dudette to a girl that didn't like the term dude and she instinctually let me use dude again.
Now let's go to today's post and memes. Medium effort meme.
Benny2 says this evolved into a big fucking problem. Demented Bloke says that is why I always travel with my trusty poop knives, one steel and one silver.
Beneg Oldmore says this is Requiem.
Joggert says the rise of Skywater.
Chixtai says I was in 9th grade my first time over at one of my many short-time girls' friend's house. She was Filipino and so was her mom and I went to use the bathroom and flooded it. I like to use lots of toilet paper, and I told her mom and she start cussing at me in whatever their language was. I mean the water was clean, everything flushed okay, but still. Anyway, my girlfriend seized the opportunity to have sex and that's the story of how I lost my virginity. Honestly wish it could have been a bit cooler.
Kiloha says, Jesus, I started sweating just from thinking about it.
Now let's go to today's post in memes. Well then.
Jem says my Japanese grandpa also has 10-pack abs.
Aaron Kiplin says in a cartoon they just kinda got old. In an anime they had to earn getting old.
Dirt1edu 213 says what about Giza Joseph Joestar? He's somewhat in the middle.
Nostjold says lovin' me a bit if One Punch Man memes.
Malif2 says well, this is an accurate representation of our society.
OG Papa Sid says breaks concrete when punch.
Now let's go to today's post in memes. Deserves more appreciation.
DQUACK1 says and don't forget some African nations are planting lots of trees to slow the expansion of the Sahara.
3Bo0 Dig 4M3R says that's an average of 166,666,667 trees per year.
Tomosmosh says everyone who takes part in planting trees deserve appreciation irrespective of nationality. Never got that many upvotes, thank y'all.
Deleted. Replies agreed.
Al319 says those who deserve recognition are usually not recognized. But funny thing is, those people are doing it for more than just clout. They're doing it because their lives depend on it.
Chris3 says but did it become a meme?
Now let's go to today's post in memes. Sorry demon.
Angelx 930 says can he stop bitching and snuggle up with my lonely ass, or am I not even worth my sleep paralysis demon's time? Red Froggy says is the demon a boomer?
Dirteeds says I haven't had one in a long time, but I used to be plagued with them when I was drinking. Mine never was one demon but a bunch of shadow-like ghosts that wanted to take my soul out of my body, and I'd lie there awake yet unable to move and brain still in sleep mode, so seeing all this shit and it was horrifying.
I'm Alice says why he kinda thick though.
Fundurfan 01213 says why he dummy thick. Apples 123 says Kinder looks like SCP-106, all those demons that deprive victims of sleep to the point of death. Lem Google what they are again. Edit, SCP-966.
Now let's go to today's post in old school cool. My dad with David Bowie in a vacation in Greece 1988.
Solid Diarrhea says incoming Tifu by posting a picture of my dad and David Bowie. Thank you kind stranger for my first gold. Thumbs up.
Elfire11 replies oh definitely. The Deadly Squid says happy birthday Bowie, wherever you are. Elfire11 replies the only one to remember in this epic yet weird thread.
Deeping Fizzle says your dad's hand positioning, he's a power thruster.
Nekiparenko says butts to nuts with Bowie.
Now let's go to today's post in Mildly Interesting. My airplane bathroom had a window in it.
Kimpa says I won't leave. Better than economy seat.
Crazy About Cat says that actually looks like a rather spacious bathroom for an airplane.
I'm an Ahalabudimphony says the window is so you can pinpoint the exact location your flush will hit.
Just Joshua says anyone could just see you.
Drew Selman says might not be that interesting but I fly a lot and have never seen this.
Hey Neat says this is a great idea. If you need to drop a deuce just open the window so you don't stink up the plane.
Now let's go to today's post in AWW. Very touching, the way he looks back, unsure whether to stay or go.
Chilla says you coming?
70 and JJ says the water that my instincts have always told me about that hello water. Waffle.
Zany Zap says to those of you worried about releasing a baby penguin into the wild alone, release of a rehabilitated injured blue penguin adult, not a baby, back to where it originated from. The penguin had sustained a significant head wound from freeing itself from plastic netting. Pain relief, antibiotics, vitamins, rehydration, feeding and rest ensured a successful return to the wild. Did you know? Unlike the penguin species in Antarctica, blue penguins are largely solitary, and generally nest in small colonies or as individual pairs. Kayakera Wildlife Rescue.
Carbonite Dating says my brain knows that he needs to go be a penguin, but my heart says we should just keep him so we can cuddle up with him and watch Netflix.
Slevy Bevy says penguins are the best bird.
I am become air says I must go, the sea is calling me.
Now let's go to today's post in awe. Her reaction to seeing my face after our nap.
Rapid Clear says delighted to learn that Peekaboo works with dogs. Incredibly cute.
So I says a dog's tail is always such a giveaway. When my dog is chilling and I start approaching, she tries to act cool but her tail is going crazy. Fira Kitten says what a good dog. Her little tail and the love in her eyes says it all.
Huckster22 replies, she really is the best dog. Such a good pup.
Racing Berakut says my lab golden GSD mutt will get all the way under the covers, but leave her whole butt and tail out. She likes to think she's hidden so I'll just walk in and say, ha, I wonder where Harley is, and her whole butt wiggles as her tail slaps the bed. I let her stay hidden for a while before I pull the covers back and pretend I'm shocked. She loves it.
Deleted, says, removed.
Now let's go to today's post in awe. Maggie's Sealegs.
Jens Snipest says meanwhile our dogs would have been flung into the side wall and overboard or tangled themselves in the nets. That is legitimately impressive.
Boat 1982 says salty sea dog.
Why am I adulting says I love the look on her face. Like what the fuck are you doing? We have a whole string of pots to pull and you are f***ing off in your phone.
Xoke Estmam says and my dude gets sick in the Honda Odyssey SMH.
Thalhu Assassin says Maggie looks like she's seen some shit.
Forever Tuli says I wanna see Maggie walking on dry land after being out at sea for a while. I always wobble like a apple like Johnny Depp in Fear and Loathing.
Now let's go to today's post in pics. 22-year-old Iranian here. Just wanted to share my love with my friends all over the world, Americans, Iraqis, Australians, etc., as it is what the world needs the most in these hard times. LoveBeyondFlags.
Alifili MD says I am an Iranian who was born in Iran and moved to US roughly 20 years ago when I was 15 years old. Over the years, I have gone back to Iran a few times. As recently as a year ago I have the same love for both Iran and the United States, and I can attest that Iranian people truly love the American people and want nothing but peace and friendship with the Americans. Those who chant death to America are part of the Iranian government and account for a very small number of the population. Unfortunately, the Iranian news outlets, which are run by the Iranian government, only broadcasts these hateful idiots to try to influence the rest of the population, which has not worked well for them over the years. At the same time, the US media outlets also only shows those same hateful idiots for their own propagandas and to spread fear so they can manipulate people's emotions to get better ratings. Because they have learned that nothing sells better than fear. Please do not fall for these manipulative tactics by both sides and know that you are truly loved by the Iranian people. Edit. Thank you all for your lovely and warm responses. I have read them all, and I am very proud and happy to know that there are still many good-hearted people out there who have genuine empathy for others. I love you all and wish you all nothing but happiness for many years to come. Let's be better for one another and build a better and more peaceful society for our future generations. Please get out and vote when the time comes. Your voice has a value and it's very important that it's heard. Edit. Thank you for the gold.
Soon above says humans, we share more bond than our governments will let you know. We're all connected, bonded. Much love from the US.
REDDITUSER 9871 says peace.
Grim Libya says please pray for Libya too, we are struggling.
Fede Dreamer Boy replies wish you the best bro.
Dithnoka says only when the power of love overcomes the love of power will the world be at peace. Jimi Hendrix be safe friend.
Now let's go to today's post in pics. Thousands of kilos of sweet potato and carrots have been dropped from the air to help feed animals impacted by bushfire in NSW, Australia.
CAPTAINHOWDY27 says animals must be losing their minds. Just survived unprecedented fires and now it's raining carrots.
Trump cheats says being an animal in a world dominated by humans must be fucking weird.
Eva Du says imagine surviving a wildfire only to get beamed by a carrot falling at 200 miles per hour.
Rita Wingman says next they need to drop some tactical cukes in there.
DWHITE 21787 says I'm imagining an animal version of the gods must be crazy.
Iron Maiden 735 says these are the luckiest carrots in the world. Most carrots are grown and eaten, but these lucky fuckers get to skydive with their buddies before they are eaten.
Now let's go to today's post in pics. TIL Ethan Suppley is ripped now. WARKYBOY77 says there goes the My Name is Randy sequel. Poster 66 says doesn't even look like the same guy. Dang Ethan.
Mavsnish33 says did you ever hear his story? He lost all of the weight and no one would hire him. He has to gain some of it back. He is still way more fit than he was and is definitely healthier. But he gained back some weight. He basically bikes and doesn't worry much about what he eats.
Sidfish Games says what the heck? He got fat again?
Tan Croissant says my name is Curl.
Caymansider says also a Scientologist.
Now let's go to today's post in pics. Former President Bill Clinton with human trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell at the door of Jeffrey Epstein's private jet.
I dunno man what Viscott says so when we going after Ghislaine Maxwell?
Rosamias says the Lolita Express.
Beach Clover says I've seen ones of Prince Andrew and these Ghislaine Maxwell and these Jeffrey Epstein and these Donald Trump and these Bill Clinton and these, and I'm pretty sure these people didn't operate in a vacuum. Who else was there?
Pandapan says expose every person who associated with this guy.
Water My Succulent says why in the hell isn't Ghislaine Maxwell in custody right now? If she is overseas there should be charges filed to extradite her. It would be a great justice for anyone who had any involvement in Epstein's trafficking to go down, including Clinton, including Trump, including Prince Andrew, including literally any person of power who should not have an ounce of power after justice is served. Edit. Oh boy, I just made this quick comment in passing when I saw this pop up and it somehow blew up. I want to address some things because this thread is chock full of dipshits, despite occasional people making good points. 1. I have no interest in mob justice. It could be fun to meme and gobble conspiracies about all the people connected to Epstein. But the first reason I think she should be extradited and tried is so she has the chance to actually spill the beans on whoever may actually have done fucked up things with minors and share some evidence it's rumored she has. And investigators searching high and low through all of her and Epstein's things and digital footprints for more evidence. I want evidence. And tons more of it, not just going after people because they spent time with the dude. 2. A continuation of that. It's perfectly likely a lot of these famous people like Clinton and Trump never did anything fucked up with Epstein. Epstein was a billionaire who donated a fuck ton of money politically and made sure socially he was always out and about with anyone else of notoriety he could get near. And he liked to party. It's possible he saw and pursued his connections with the rich and powerful, like Clinton and Trump, as precisely the first line of defense if he ever got in trouble. Friends in high places and all that. And only dolled out the pedo things with fellow pedis. I would imagine among the rich and powerful there's a way to signal to others in the same world that you are down for creepy shit and others be completely oblivious to whatever signals those are. Prince Andrew seems less likely to be innocent with an actual underage accuser with evidence. 3. I'm not some naive person. I'm well aware that Maxwell is well connected and that the rich and powerful rarely are subjected to justice in any real sense. My comment was a hopeful rhetorical one, not an actual question. 4. I'm mind blown that so many right-wing people seem completely convinced that Clinton was involved with Epstein's underage fucked up actions and Trump is completely innocent. It's just as likely to be the opposite and equally as likely as they both were. Facts against Trump are pretty damning. There's audio of Trump bragging on a public show about how Epstein likes women almost as much as he does and how he knows Epstein likes them young. At a minimum it seems like Trump may have known what was up for decades and didn't give a shit and in fact thought it was funny and worth bragging about. At a maximum he was involved and Trump being Trump couldn't keep his mouth shut, especially because he seems like someone who feels like him and his ilk are immune to any serious consequences to their actions. Also, Epstein donated tons of money politically to politicians of all parties and stripes. It seems like Clinton has a more believable alibi than Trump does as a politician, the husband of another politician, and someone who enjoyed political fundraising power for the part. Trump merely liked socializing with him without any financial interest. This is all before considering that Trump and the Justice Department that is under his control are the ones who let Epstein die on their watch, don't seem to be giving much of a shit about investigating the death, or pursuing Maxwell. This is despite there being great political benefit for Trump to publicly drag Clinton's name through the mud, one of his fav punching bags, and capture the press cycle on his terms by launching a huge public investigation into Maxwell and Clinton and all others involved. If there was evidence that Clinton was involved and he wasn't, it could actually help win Trump re-election. But no, he is pretty silent and his Justice Department gives zero fucks. Now it could be for the same reason Clinton maybe doesn't like talking about it. They were connected to Epstein but not to his fucked up actions and their publicists, minions. Lawyers all told them it's better to just not comment, or they were involved, in which case I'm hoping for justice. And just to address it before more people screech about some beef that Trump and Epstein had years ago, they were also friends for many years and seem to have already made up after that beef. It is proof of nothing one way or the other. 5. I learned about Maxwell's father's Mossad connections from these comments for the first time. I haven't looked into this myself so can't verify, but that's super fucked up and interesting.
Kinder22 says Epstein. That's the guy who killed himself, right?
Now let's go to today's post in gifts. An Australian family set about rescuing as many koalas as they could from the wildfires to take to their friend who has a license to take care of native wildlife. They were simply informed to save as many koalas as they could.
Harbinger of Smile says they look like stuffed animals. Edit. Apparently stuffed is Australian for tired.
Tootin88 says man, it's absolutely devastating to see what's happening to the poor Australians, but it kills me every time I see footage of the poor koalas and other animals.
IH82 love you forever says all of them look so scared. I hope they get the care that's desperately needed.
DJ AMP42 says I thought I read koalas are pretty aggressive and you shouldn't get near them. All the videos I have seen, they seem pretty docile.
Yakumo UNR says here is what seems to be the original uncropped footage, with sound.
Koneskator says my car is infested with koala bears. It's the cutest infestation ever. Much better than cockroaches. I turn the lights on and a bunch of koala bears scatter. I'm like, hey, hold on fellas. Lem hold one of you, and feed you a leaf. Koalas, they are so fucking cute. Why do they gotta be so far away from me? They should ship a few over, and I will apprehend one, and hold him, and pet him on the back of his head, Mitch Hedberg. Now let's go to today's post in videos. For the past 6 months I've been animating my girlfriend and myself into her favorite movie, Sleeping Beauty. With the help of some local Redditors, I popped the question in a crowded movie theater. John Smith says women I don't even know what to say man sweating profusely, I hope you do.
Tequila Greg says the ring toss from the character on screen to the guy proposing made this the best proposal I'll ever see.
TERPINGTON says Disney's legal team has entered the chat. Mystery Manatee says lol she knew something was strange from the very first frame. That's the kind of memory only 10,000 rewatches on VHS gives you.
Yostrali says if you like this, check out Kayla Coombs, she's the illustrator who drew us in the Disney style. Yostrali replies she is the sweetest most talented human, and right now all profits from her book are going to fighting the wildfires in Australia.
Now let's go to today's post in world news. Multiple rockets hit Taji base in Iraq.
Valuing Vulturifix says for those requesting a live thread, here is one and here is another one. These threads are not controlled by World News Mods. Contact the thread admins if you want access.
Ozhit says reports are coming out that Pence and the other people meeting with Trump have left the White House and that Trump will not be addressing the nation tonight. Hopefully that's a sign that we won't see any more action tonight. https twitter.com/BNO News/status/1214723882625773573.
Dano32 says maybe the 2030s will be better.
Deleted, says, deleted.
Kapsaki says the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard just took credit for the attack.
Deleted, says, removed. Now let's go to today's post in Show Her Thoughts. If elevators hadn't been invented, all the seers and important people would have their offices on the first floor as a sign of status, and the entry-level employees would be up on the 80th floor.
Hirabanas says that's what high-rise housing was like before the elevators were invented. Cheapest accommodations on the top floor.
Diegso says before elevators the second floor was considered the most desirable and referred to as the belle etage or piano nobile. First floor would have all the traffic of a building flowing through it, while the second could be more secluded with all foot traffic relegated to staircases.
Kelly 2,40,361 says if elevators hadn't been invented, I doubt there'd be any 80-floor buildings.
Unwritten Path says and you would have to be at work an hour early to climb the stairs on your own time. Zizou says that's how it worked in Rome. The higher floor you lived on, the poorer Roman you were. This was also due to safety. You're less likely to die in a fire if you're on the first floor.
Huckleberry says started from the top, now we're here.
Now let's go to today's post in MIRL. MIRL. Trevor A7X69 says it was the remote that did it.
Nick Obazin says I went in here to see if you had posted anything and you had just posted it. It's the magic of this series. It was good while it lasted.
Dracox Joe says it was discovered. Rest in peace, Op. You made it 7 days into 2020. We will carry your torch and make a terrible meme out of this.
Punbehu Uzajo says the remote was a too high-risk target. It was inevitable.
Helen Rock says it was a good run while it lasted. How'd your dad react?
2 Wombats 1 Cup says Apple G for bad English. It is my first language. And where were you when dad found show? He was at house eating banana when phone ring dad found Shuno.
Now let's go to today's post in Teenagers. I'm finally under 100 kgs. Can you be proud of me?
Noobmaster 333 says you also changed your hair's direction.
AP4150 says good job bro, keep it up.
Av3R4GECSGO replies thanks mate.
Blue stop sign 118 says holy shit, I'm around 75-80 and this post wants me to get started on changing myself.
Av3R4GECSGO replies look how much is healthy for you and then do what you need to do. Hit the gym, if her gym allows it at her age, count calories or start if and become a better version of herself dude, I believe in you.
Mr. Traps says yes. Good job, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.